All information given in this episode is for educational purposes and should not be tried prior to consulting a licensed physician and or certified state or accrediting bodies. We encourage all listeners to research, talk, and make all inquiries to all of the important professionals and governing bodies before acting on any information heard on the De La Fit podcast. Any action taken by any listener is done by and under their own omission and action, whether conscious to the results positive or not.
Tuned in to the De La Fit Podcasts, 360 degrees of holistic fitness and health, all in one podcast.
Salutations and proclamations. It is I, it is you, it is us, it is we. Together we make up the digital family that is the De La Fit Podcast. I'm your host, Philly's #1 son, aka the Body Alchemist, Sun Moon Bay, bringing you another podcast excursion. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope that your week was filled with love and plenty of happiness. We've got a show for you that was meant to air on March the 8th for International Women's Day. Unfortunately, because of all of the things that took place, coronavirus, pandemic, lockdowns, all those things, we were forced to address the pandemic before we were able to actually put this show forth. We felt that although this show is definitely, or rather I should say, although this particular episode was definitely relevant and important, that the pandemic was something that needed to be addressed first. So at that time we had interviews with individuals who we thought would be able to better explain what was going on and to help with certain situations. So now that we are in May, we thought that this would still be a good time to rather put this show out. It's an interview with my friend, your friend, Brittany Noel, as she discusses what it's like to be an entrepreneur, a woman entrepreneur in a very male-based industry, which is the health and fitness industry. I thought this episode was enlightening, and I thought it was very, very potent. And I think that all of you out there will enjoy it. Whenever we have Brittany here, we always have a good time. She's like another sibling to me, a friend. She's hilarious, and we always have a good time whenever we are on the podcast or whenever we speak. So this is our interview with Brittany Noel. We will have new episodes next week, which I know all of you will definitely enjoy. So please enjoy our interview with Brittany Noel. What's going on, everybody? It's Philly's #1 son. Listen, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's a creation tool that allows you how to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a stunning podcast in one place. So listen, if you want to be like me and have your own podcast, go to anchor.com. That's anchor.com. De La Fit Podcast is sponsored by Mountain Made CBD. Mountain Made is changing the CBD game by offering a line of high-dose CBD tablets at an affordable price. Their products are THC-free and third-party tested for accuracy, cleanliness, and potency. Their products, which ship nationwide, include Build for CBD saturation, Boost for precision titration, Recovery for rest and rehab. With 9 years experience in hemp and fitness, Mountain Made's founders are focused on creating a quality product to help those who live an activated lifestyle. Check out www.mountainmade.life to find out more about how their products can help you crush life. Remember, their products ship nationwide. Go check out their website today and follow them on social media at MNTMADE. I started using Mountain Made's Build CBD tablets to help me with the injury in my elbow. And let me tell you something. Not only is the injury subsided, but now I can do push-ups and I'm back to bench pressing. So I encourage anybody who's interested to look up, check out Mountain Made and all their products. I think you'll be glad you did.
You're now tuned in to the De La Fit Podcast.
Welcome back to the 360 Degrees of Holistic Fitness and Health that is the De La Fit Podcast. I am your host. Sorry, that is a flub on me. Let's try that one more time.
You know your name? You know your name,
I sure did. I forgot my damn name. Anyway, we're going to keep that rolling. I'm your host, Philly's number one son, a.k.a. the Body Alchemist, Sun Moon Bay, and I am back with a guest that hasn't been here in a while. For those of you that know, Brittany Noel has been a consistent guest on our podcast. She's always been full of energy. She's always helped us with plenty of our different projects and interviews. But it's been some time since we spoke with her. And I thought it was good that we have her back because it is March 8th, International Women's Day. Well, actually, it's not March 8th right now because we're pre-recording this. But by the time you all hear it out there, it will be March 8th. So we have right now, we're going to be talking to my friend and your friend, the amazing Miss Brittany Noel. Brittany, how you doing today?
I am doing well. How are you?
I am doing pretty good. We have been kicking off 2020, and Happy New Year, by the way. 2020 with a bam. We've had so many different great interviews. So much has changed. But I'm excited.
Yeah, so far 2020 has felt like a whole year. Like January was a whole year in itself, and now we're in February, and I feel like I'm in 2021. But, you know.
That quick, that awesome?
Yeah, there was a lot of things happening in January, some things happening in February, but we're going to just keep on progressing through 2020.
That's right, because that's the whole aura and energy of 2020. 2020 is the year of clarity. For many of you listeners out there who are paying attention, you know I've said this time and time again. I feel like most of everything we're going to see is going to be opening our eyes to a lot of truths. And one of those truths, Brittany, is the fact of this is the year of being the entrepreneur. Like many of us have found out, and I know you yourself know this, that working for somebody else, well, sucks. So, you know, it is. And no hate, no shade to anybody out there. Hey, listen, I am still contracted to my supervisors out there who are listening because they do listen. Thank you so much.
You don't want a job anymore?
Like, listen, I love all of you guys. I'm bringing nothing but vegan banana bread to the office.
Vegan
okay?
Banana bread. Well, I would like some of that in California.
Oh, it's
yeah.
coming. It's coming. But
extra banana, please.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, Brittany,
sorry.
Tell us what's been going on with you, because I mean, you've told me a little bit about some of the changes that you're going through, or you've been going through. But you left the gym that you were at for a good amount of years. Am I correct?
You are correct. I did leave the gym. I wanted to concentrate more on running my online business, and I also got the opportunity to collaborate with another company and helping them with their fitness videos. So it's been definitely a year of change for me so far, but the change has been really good, and I feel so much better having left my comfort zone for this new opportunity, and so far it's really paying off for me.
So I'm sure you thought about, because you've always been the type of individual that you're very strategic and very intelligent in all of your moves. What was the conversation mentally that you had before you decided to make this change?
So I got a mentor. I strongly believe that everyone should have a coach. And for the longest time, people would ask me, who's your mentor? And I would say I didn't have one, just because I didn't grow up knowing that you should have a mentor. And I got really into reading books, and one of the books that I got really into was You're Badass at Making Money. And it was actually a book that a coach had recommended to me. And then once I read it, everything just fell into place for me in terms of really having the understanding of I can make as much money as I want to make. I just need to stop blocking it from coming in. And ultimately, if I'm aligned with what I'm passionate about, then I will work hard enough and also be able to manifest the money that I want. Then I got my coach, and she reiterated a lot of the things that were said in Your Badass at Making Money. And in that, I kind of felt like I had all the tools necessary to leave my comfort zone and just go ahead and start my own business. And that's pretty much what happened.
So you got a mentor, which is awesome. You know, I have several. Totally understand what you're talking about. Tell us, what are some of the tools that your mentor gave you? Like, just not, I know not all of them. I'm sure there was a lot, but how did they reaffirm your confidence in you?
So a lot of it was a lot of the tools that are given to you in Your Badass at Making Money. So definitely I would recommend reading that, going through all of the modules, because a big part of it is adjusting your mindset. That was the first thing that my coach worked with me on. And I'm a very positive mindset person in general. So I didn't think I needed to work on my mindset more. But what I didn't understand is that even though I have a very strong positive mindset, I wasn't maximizing all of the potential that I had. So even though I am probably 90% more positive than the average person, having the tools to know how to take that to 110% level just made me even more effective in what I was trying to do. So I spend a lot of time now meditating, visualizing what I want, figuring out exactly what I'm passionate about, how I want to make money, how I want to grow my business, and then understanding the deep whys associated with that. Like, why do I want to make more money? Why do I want to be an entrepreneur? Why do I want to help people? And the more I got clarification on what those things were, and I started actually writing them down and going back to them every day, every week, and just realigning my mindset with it, it's helped a lot with me just blocking out the roadblocks that were keeping me from being a successful entrepreneur. And also it's brought people into my circle that are very positive and that are eliciting positive changes in me, instead of being around people that were negative and taking energy away from me.
Okay. So, and I'm big on that. I totally understand about the energy flow. Tell us some of the things that you noticed that were blocking you, or maybe were blocking you, but you didn't see them automatically, or did you?
So the major thing that I found was I have always been in the mindset of I want to be able to provide enough money to have a dual income with me and my husband. That's always been my mindset for the longest time, because I've always been super focused on I need to get married, I want to have kids. I want to be married and I want to have kids, but it was something that I was focused on so much that I wasn't focusing on making my own money and creating a system of wealth for myself, because I always saw it as something that I would do with a partner. And once I turned 30 this year, I kind of realized that I couldn't keep putting off building up my own nest egg and, saving up for retirement and knowing what I wanted, because I'm getting older now. So I had to readjust my mindset to be like, it's okay for you to build your own nest egg, to build your own empire. And then when you meet someone that also has his empire, you guys can combine it. But just in case you don't meet that person, you need to be okay with having your own empire. So I had to have that mindset shift. Yeah. Yes, mindset shift. There we go. I need to have that shift happen so that I could start making really boss moves as a woman, and being a female entrepreneur, and being okay with owning that power and bringing in everything that came along with that.
Now, when you say being okay, I would like you to go deeper into that, because obviously, as you said in the beginning of the broadcast, I am not a woman. So explain a little bit more for our listeners out there who aren't women, what you mean about discovering your power, if I'm following you correctly.
Yeah, so growing up, or at least I didn't grow up this particular way, but I'm definitely the traditional girl that watches Disney movies, totally believes in fantasies. I grew up in a 2-parent household. And so my idea of life was if you're a pretty girl, you grow up, you get educated, you marry a guy, you live happily ever after, you guys raise a family, and it's all good. And also, growing up, you are kind of taught, especially if you are a pretty girl, that you just need to be pretty. And then you need to be pretty and you want to be educated, but women are kind of taught you're not supposed to be super educated because it's either unattractive or it's too intimidating. So if you're a pretty girl and you're intelligent, you're very intimidating to men. And that's what you're told growing up. And so they kind of teach you, yes, be smart, but kind of hide it. Use your looks first, hide that. And then that's where it goes with being an entrepreneur too, because now you're educated, you're good looking. Now if you're trying to make a lot of money, more so than most men, that's like next level intimidating. And so in growing up in a society that tells you your job is to get married and have kids, it's a very old school view that you don't want to appear to be stronger than the man, right? You want the men, to be the breadwinner. So if you come to the table with brains, beauty, and a lot of money, it's like a triple threat. So it's a very much a negative thing, and society tells you you're kind of setting yourself up to be alone, or you're going to have to settle for someone that's not there. And then if you add the fact that I am also an African-American woman, we also get the stigma of being intimidating or bossy, or like we come across like we don't need a man, that kind of aura. So add that on top of the other three things, it's very scary. And basically society tells you, that's great, you can be a powerful boss woman that's intelligent and pretty, but you're going to be alone. And even when you look at a lot of celebrities that we see in the media, a lot of the celebrities that you see them either not married or divorced or having crappy situations. So I think it's just a negative connotation that goes back to young women. So we don't strive to be entrepreneurs or to be super intelligent because we're stuck in that bubble of if we do those things, we're not going to be marriage material. We're going to be too strong, and that's not a good thing in a male-driven society.
That's potent because I didn't grow up that way. And I'm trying to empathize with you. And the only thing I can empathize partly, and I really don't even know if this is anywhere close to what it is that you're saying, is the fact of I know with my mentors, with the individuals that I've studied with and talked to, a lot of them always said, you need to find like-minded people. And it's very difficult to find like-minded people. Like literally, for me, it was difficult because most of my friends and people I know are married. So that entrepreneurial energy, I've found very little people like that. It sounds kind of like telling me your journey, you're taught already. It's a very lonely path that you're going to face if you're going to be the queen you want to be, the boss, the head, the successful person that you want to be.
Correct. Because same thing, I don't know that many female entrepreneurs, and I've recently met a lot of female entrepreneurs, which is really great. But then to take that to the next level, I don't know that many Black female entrepreneurs. And then to find Black female entrepreneurs that are married and that have...
Hey everyone, we hope that you're enjoying the interview thus far. We'd just like to take some quick time out to remind everybody to like, follow, share, and subscribe. With every like, follow, share, and subscription, it helps the De La Fit podcast to grow. And the more we grow, the more information we can bring to you, the listener. So please, take some time out, like, follow, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Kids, it's like smaller and smaller in that pool. So it is very hard to find those like-minded people. But what's great is when you find them, like now that I've found more women, it gives you more inspiration that you're not the only person. And, when I have found those women that were successful in their businesses, great moms, married, and, run an empire, I'm like, wow, it can be done. Awesome. Why don't we hear about these women more often? Why aren't they in the newspaper and in social media?
And what's your opinion of that?
Very helpful if we had that.
Why aren't they? Why aren't they promoted more?
I think, again, because it is a male-driven society. So, right now, this is definitely the age of women where more women are allowed to show their voices. They have the first female coach in the NFL. You see more women in these predominantly male positions, which is awesome. And along with that, again, going with Black women, it's still sort of a societal thing where they don't want to depict the Black woman as being successful and being the queens that we are meant to be. It's much easier to keep that negative connotation that surrounds a lot of Black women. And even, you know, the women that we do see, like your Oprahs and whatnot, yes, they have gotten recognition now, but you have to be on such a level, like an Oprah, like a Beyonce, that you almost feel like you have to be on like a heroic, larger than life level to get recognition. You don't see it in middle class or your average individual. And it's just because I don't think that they want that image out there as being a powerful thing, because it's scary.
I got two questions on that one. My first one is, how do you not let everything that you're just telling me right now affect your passion and your purpose?
I think because it kind of motivates me more to be that person that other young women can look up to. I think because a lot of the time growing up, I didn't have that strong female figure to look up to. I had some female figures that were similar, and so I had to kind of find my own path. And in doing that, I had a lot of younger people or people in my group that would say, you know, you're really inspiring to me. So to me, it kind of gives me more fuel to be like, well, since you don't see this person, I need to become that person so that I can help other people. That path hasn't already been made, then let me make it so that other women can follow me to it. That's kind of how my mindset works.
What do you think for the individuals, the minority of individuals, men on top or in certain positions, what do you think they feel when they see this new group of highly assertive, just 100% boss-ass women coming to take their rightful place? What do you think that the status quo thinks about that?
Unfortunately, what I tend to see is that as we become stronger, it's not that the men are being weaker, but they just think, great, cool, I get to chill now. If I'm going to have this 100% boss female, awesome. I can just be not 50%, but I can just coast. Like, you hear a lot more guys saying, like, I'm just going to get myself a sugar mama or, like, marry an awesome boss woman. And that sucks because you're like, no, you're supposed to still be like 100% boss guy with me. It shouldn't be that I'm now picking up the slack for you. It should be we're putting in equal effort. Whereas I think men's growth is being stunted right now as a result of women getting stronger. And why? I don't know why that's happening because there's still so many examples of strong men out there. So I don't know why they're not looking at those examples. It's just that now women also have those examples. And I don't know if it has to do with the social media lifestyle or whatever it is. I don't see as many men going out there saying, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to do this. You still see them kind of wanting to do more traditional jobs and take more traditional roles. So I would be interested to know, like, from your perspective, why you think that is something. I have met some men that do have that mentality to want to, you know, grow and do better and meet their women at that, like, higher level. But again, those are far and in between for me to find. So it's just an interesting dichotomy that's happening.
I think it's funny that you said that because I've met a lot of women who will say that they're looking for more of the traditional relationship. And I'm always curious as to the mentality that many individuals have when it comes to relationships and what, quote unquote, the conversation of equality is. To answer your question, I feel that there's a lack of drive because three major issues. One, there's so many different choices. Two, lazy. And three, just not knowing what the purpose is. When I say lazy, I want to go to that one first. I think that we live in a world where, again, there's so many options. There's so many possibilities that it's like, oh, I have the possibility of doing this, doing that. But at the same time, you know, when you have too many options, it's like, well, I can sit and chill. I can rest on my laurels. What many individuals find out is that time is an ongoing thing. It doesn't stop just because you think that you can chill. And I think it catches people. As far as the other thing, I don't think there are enough guys that want to be leaders. They just don't know what they want to do. Certain guys, when I was coming up, that just didn't know if they wanted to be married and if they were going to marry the woman they were with and if they were going to do the things they were going to do the rest of their life. I mean, they made good money, but they weren't happy. So I think you were right in the beginning. It's a lot of individuals who are kind of like, well, if I do this, I can do this for the rest of my life. And that's not how our world works. You literally have to be a Renaissance man and a woman. That's the best way to put it. You have to think outside the box. And I think people are scared of that. I think more women are looking at it and taking that to another level. Like, listen, fuck this box. Excuse my language, y'all. But you know,
boxes.
Yeah, you know, I think that's what a lot of women are doing now. They're like, well, I've been stuck in a box for so long, no more boxes. And I think a lot of men have gotten comfortable in those boxes. Not all of us, but a good amount of us. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. I feel like we're on the same wavelength in terms of that.
So,
that's probably why we get along.
Very true. Tell us some of your plans that you have for this year. Because I know you got some cooking up. Yeah, I've known you for a while now.
So I finished writing a book. We are in the process of revising it and getting that published at it should be out before 2021. And the book is going to be for women, and it's all about weightlifting. So that's going to be exciting.
Go ahead with your badass self.
Thank you. I'm continuing to expand the online fitness business. We will be introducing different types of challenges later on in the year, focusing on growing out that Facebook community group just so that people know that there's a safe place for them to go and ask questions and to get support from other people who are on their health and wellness journey. And then I'm also starting a blog that's specific to women. So by the time that this is out, it should be fully set up. And so that blog is going to be Black Women Travel. It's not just going to be for Black women. It's going to be for anyone. But the focus is definitely going to be on places that are very friendly for Black women to go to, just adventurous, just talking about, you know, hotel reviews, food, if there is opportunities for activities, things like that. And it will have information on if it's family friendly or not. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That sounds awesome. The fact, I mean, you're doing your book. I'm proud of you. 100% I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
How is the podcast going? Are you still doing your podcast?
I'm still doing the podcast. It went on a little bit of a pause just because I wanted to restructure some things so that it had more of a format. But that is going to be back on a consistent, updated status. I think it's going to be seasonal. So it's still coming along. I wanted to make sure that I got the book launched and the online fitness program launched first because that's what my coach wanted me to focus on. So now that all of that's completed, more focus can go back into the podcast.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that you're. That
it wasn't me. I didn't do it.
LA's finest out there. It sounds like LA's finest. I mean,
there's more. There's still coming.
There's more.
Oh boy.
Brittany Noel, everybody, always bringing us action.
It's a high-speed tape. No, just kidding. It's not high-speed.
That's awesome, Brittany. As always, we know you're very busy, but thank you for coming on to the broadcast and sharing some of your thoughts. We've been trying to do this for, I think, now maybe 3 months, but I know you've been busy. I've been busy. So much has changed and structure has changed to the podcast. I don't know if you knew, I actually had an assistant at one point, and she has gone on to do other things. So, you know, we had to restructure how some things were done. So a lot has changed here at the De La Fit podcast, or the House of De La Fit. Ha ha ha. But
nice.
We are always glad to have you come on to the podcast and be a guest. And you know you have a home here whenever you want to come back, especially to promote your book, which is going to be awesome. I can't wait to read it. I know it's going to be a bestseller. It better be a bestseller.
I hope so. My mom keeps being like, I hope someone's editing it for you, because funny fact, I cannot spell, and my grammar is not as good as mine. Don't say that. I was like, yes, Mom, they're professional. Don't worry.
Shout out to the parents, man. The parents keep you grounded.
I can't see everything, okay? God, you want me to know how to spell too? Goodness.
You know what? She's like, because you remember that time you were in the 5th grade and you spelled
terrible
with a P-E-E and an S. I was like, that girl knows better than that.
Money back. She's like, I want my UCLA education money back. I'm like, listen, I've got people for that now.
You know what?
I've got people for that. Spelling person, you fix this.
Wait. Did your mom ask you? She's like, people? Did she say, did you have people? My baby got people.
No, it was more like, how are you paying for all that? Like, don't worry about it, Mom.
Wow.
Don't worry about it. No, it's fine.
Brittany Noel, everybody. Thank you so much. Brittany, thank you for coming on to the podcast. Let everybody know where they can reach you so they can keep in touch and share your journey with everything that you're doing.
So you can head over to my website, which is bnoelfitness.com. There you can email me. You can see my Instagram, all of that information. My Instagram is b_Noelle Fitness, and you spell Noelle Noelle. And again, from my Instagram, you can find links to my podcast, to the Facebook group, everything.
Again, Brittany Noel, everybody. Thank you, Brittany. Appreciate you for coming on to the podcast.
You are welcome, and thank you for inviting me.
Hey, you, with the earbuds in their ear. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? When I was trying to get my podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other places people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you can get paid to podcasts. I like to upload my episodes directly to the app and then promote. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast, make money doing it. Go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. So I hope that everybody enjoyed that interview with the amazing Brittany Noel. I'd like to thank Brittany for coming on to the show. Brittany was one of the first guests that came on to our show in the early stages when we were still formulating everything, when the De La Fit podcast was still trying to struggle to find its identity. And Brittany was gracious enough to join us. She was very energetic about it and very helpful. And I thank her so much for that. And we've become very cool. I think of her as a very close friend now. And she's a go-getter. She's one of those individuals I love to have contact with her. She's on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast, but we talk via social media. We we exchange text, and we talk sometimes through Skype. And she is the type of person that is very, very ambitious. She's the type of person you want in your circle because she motivates you to do better and to go forward. And I'm so glad that I was able to connect with her. And I want everybody out there who is listening to take the time out to envision and think of the type of people that you want around you. And I think when you listen to this interview and you hear about the type of person that Brittany is, try to find people like that. You know, try to find people that are go-getters and are progressive and want to do something positive with their time, because those are the individuals that are going to help motivate you when you are in that state of mind where your creativity seems to stall, or you might need a recharge in your battery. it's individuals like Brittany that I have in my circle who help me get that energy back. So I'd like to again just thank her, and I hope that all of you enjoyed this interview. If you want to hear more interviews like this, if you want to reach us to make a comment, tell us about something you think we should be speaking about, or rather just to leave us a comment, period, please do not hesitate. You can email us at daylafit13@gmail.com. We are also can be reached at our website, which is www.daylafitpodcast.com. We are on all social media platforms: Twitter at DayLaFit Podcast, Facebook at DayLaFit Podcast, Instagram at DE_LA_Fit Podcast. So please do not hesitate. Contact us, reach out. We love to hear from our listening audience. And also, please take the time out, subscribe. I want all of the listeners to be able to be to hear when we have new shows, and to be and to have notification of when we are letting out new shows. So please do that. Subscribe. We are on all major platforms: Google Play, iTunes, Spotify. We are on all of the major platforms that are out there. SoundCloud, YouTube. Our YouTube is starting to pick up extensively. It was something I was kind of shying away from, but now I've because of some of my friends out there who've been like, no, you need to get on YouTube. Hey, get on YouTube. We're on YouTube. So please take the time out. Follow us on all of our platforms, whichever one that you prefer, whichever one is more comfortable for you, and definitely become a part of our listening community. So I'm going to get ready to sign off for today. I want to say to everyone out there listening, please have a happy, healthy week and weekend. Do your best to help yourself. We are the village. Each one teach one. Please be safe. Please be healthy and be fit. Peace.
You've been listening to the DayLaFit podcast. Ta-ta for now.